Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike. This time we're taking a look at the Action Force, The Bone Collector by Valiverse. Now, if you hadn't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. And here we have the Bone Collector himself, Arthur Allen, former officer within the United States Army, becomes disillusioned with all the political BS that we see in today's modern military and decides to retire. Once he does, he starts his own army, the Brother of Bones, hiring former soldiers that worked under his command, and soldiers recommended to him throughout the U.S. military, and he offers them an opportunity to come on board his program. And I got to tell you guys, I love his philosophy. His methodology is a little whack, but this is one of the more awesome characters within Action Force. I really love Steel Brigade. It's my favorite action figure, but next to it is this guy, the Bone Collector. He's a really cool dude. And you know, one of the great things about Action Force and the franchise and the story as a whole, it's not like G.I. Joe, where there's two factions, good versus evil, black and white. There's a lot of gray area within the story with Action Force. You have the Brother of Bones, you've got the Garrison, you've got the Swarm, you've got Crimson Shadow Technologies, and they all seem to have their own objectives for what they want to do, or their own way for carrying it out. And you might have the Bone Collector working with the Garrison one moment, and the next he's out on his own. It could just be anything. You have no clue what's going to happen next. And the only moral compass within this storyline is Action Force and the different territories that they work with and represent to try to restore democracy. So in the midst of that, you've got the Bone Collector and the Brother of Bones. And I got to tell you, I just love this dude. I really do. You know, I can't wait to see how his story develops and evolves as time progresses within the comics, and see where that takes us with this character, because he is really, really awesome. I've got a feeling that at the end of the day, if they're able to restore democracy, this guy's still going to be around. The rest of them might be ashes and dust. The Bone Collector, he's going to survive, I guarantee you. Really cool action figure. I like the camo uniform pants, the black shirt. I love his body armor, which is a repaint from the Riot Trooper gear set. You can see that the plate carrier itself is brown. The gunmetal armor plates on it. You can see the 40 Mite shells on his torso. To his right, our left, you can see the Desert Eagle sidearm. He's got the signature Bone Collector mask, the Kurkuri, and then he's got the M4 with the M203 grenade launcher on it. This side panel, you've got the Action Force logo as well as the Action Force emblem. On this side, you've got artwork of the Bone Collector, which is really cool. On the back, you've got your obligatory product shots of Series 1 as well as his file card. Now, you can cut this out and display it on the display base with the figure, or keep it on the packaging, whatever you so choose to do with it. Here it says the Bone Collector. File name, Arthur Allen. Birthplace, Tucson, Arizona. Primary MOS, 11 Alpha Infantry. Additional skills, 89 Echo, Explosives Ordnance Disposal, or EOD. 19 Bravo, Armor Officer. Now, for those of you that don't understand those little codes, 89 Echo, 19 Bravo, all that is what we refer to in the Army as an ASI, Additional Skill Identifier. That identifies an additional skill that you've obtained through going to a specialist school or training program. His bio says, Arthur Allen was a career Army and infantry officer in the United States Army, trained under the leadership of old school veterans. Arthur was ambitious and tenacious. He became disillusioned when the collapse of the Union did not lead to an all-out war, and opted to retire rather than continue to fight. He saw how the military had become corrupted and institutionalized by political inbreeding, and looked for an opportunity to put his skills to use. That opportunity came in the form of someone from his past, Carrick. Having served together in Afghanistan, Carrick was very familiar with Arthur's reputation and sought his skills for the garrison. Taking up the moniker the Bone Collector, Arthur became one of the garrison's commanding officers and reported directly to Carrick. The Bone Collector completed his missions with ferocity as if he were the god of war himself. Although his missions were a success, the Bone Collector had a reputation of not taking prisoners and using brutal methods to extracting information. These tactics often caused tension with Carrick, who ideally wanted to restore the country with less bloodshed. The Bone Collector's villainy would be a necessity in what was to come. So you can already see from that file card the direction that this guy is going. His objectives might be the same as Carrick, but he's going about it a completely different way. All right, so let's take this guy out of the box and see what he's all about. I'm really excited to open this action figure. I really am. I cannot thank Bobby enough for sending me these action figures. And there's what he looks like out of the packaging inside the tray. And you guys can see the level of detail. Look at the paint apps on that head sculpt. The different skin tones that they've used. The shadowing. I mean, that's just unreal. I mean, that is awesome. Awesome. And you can see the details and the accessories and weapon as well. And one of the things I point out in each of these videos is the tray that they come in. You will never see an action figure from Mattel or Hasbro in a tray this nice. You've got a protective cover over it, which slides right off. And then you've also got the plastic sheet covering over it, which also peels off. And to remove the action figure, you simply pick him right out of the tray. You know, there's no fighting, no hassling, no ties, no tape, none of that other crap that you see with different action figures. And here you can see the detail up close and the head sculpt. I mean, everything about this dude says that he's serious. Maybe that's why I like him, because I'm serious. Everyone tells me that I always look angry, when really I'm not. I'm a very soft-hearted individual. I like this dude. Oh, check this out as Kurkuri goes on his back. My God, that's lethal. Can you imagine him walking up to somebody and just reaching back and snatching that thing out of the sheath and just decapitating them right on the spot? If there's an Action Force movie, that needs to be a scene. Now, Bobby recommends that you take these action figures and heat them with a hair dryer for around 30 seconds or soak them in warm tap water for the same amount of time in order to loosen up the joints, because they're extremely tight due to a variance in temperature during transport. So we're going to do that right now and come back and see what this guy is all about. Okay, so we've loosened up the joints on the Bone Collector, and man, I got to tell you, I'm blown away. This is one of, if not the nicest action figures I have ever seen. I mean, the head sculpt is just unreal. Let's get in close so you guys can see that. I mean, just look at how realistic this is. All the way around. I mean, this is awesome. It really is. Now, let's take a look at articulation. His head will swivel left to right. It'll pivot up and down. That joint's still kind of tight. It's also slightly limited by the neck guard on his body armor. Forward and lateral movement at the shoulder. Butterfly joint gives a full range of motion. I'd say that's at least 90, if not 120 degrees is what I'm thinking there. Bicep rotation, double jointed elbow, wrist rotation, and his hands will also pivot. There we go. They'll pivot. Now, the torso is on two ball joints. There's an upper ball joint and lower ball joint to give a full range of motion. Sort of impeded by the plate carrier, not so much with his. Forward and lateral movement there at the leg and the thigh rotation. Double jointed knees. And these knee joints are really tight. That's another reason why you have to be careful when you heat them. Lower leg rotation. His foot will pivot. It's also on a ball joint to give it rotation as well. You guys can see that. Really cool. And, you know, the issue with the display base is that the foot peg on the action figure is slightly smaller, or excuse me, the port on the boot is slightly smaller than the peg. You can widen this out. You could also take a rotary tool and do a couple laps around the peg and shave some material off of it, but the problem with that is you're going to remove the paint from the display base. You could also take an X-Acto and kind of widen this out. It's just up to you how you want to deal with that. So he fits on his display base, unlike the previous figures in this line that I've reviewed. All right, let's take a look at the accessories. First thing I want to look at is this Kukuri. And you can see that this is really nice. Serrated edges on the top. Silver paint for the edge. It's really cool. Really detailed handle. That's going to go on his back in this sheath. Just like that. That is awesome. Next thing I want to talk about is his sidearm, Desert Eagle. Nicely detailed, realistic. And he has what looks like a Safariland holster for this thing. That's really cool. And he has his short barrel M4 with a M203 grenade launcher mounted on the bottom. 30 round removable magazine will pop out. You can simulate doing mag changes. These are all ABS weapons. No soft gushy crap here like the Classified series or Jazzware or Halo weapons. No, none of that bull crap. This is the real deal. And let's see if we can pull his booger hooker out and put it in the trigger guard. There we go. Here's his mask. My God, it's awesome. I love this crap. I really do. Check this junk out. Is that not somebody you would want to work for? I would. Oh my God. This dude is my hero. Forget Mr. Rogers. Man, I love the Bone Collector. I want to go to work for this dude. I really do. I dig this all day long. Oh man, could you not imagine this guy walking down the middle of a street in a city where there's riots and chaos, dressed like this, and a group of guys behind him dressed exactly like him? Oh my God, everybody would stop, shut up, and go home. Yes, I love this dude. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, the Action Force Bone Collector. If you don't have this dude, you need to go order him right now. As well as all the other action figures within the Action Force Series 1. Don't forget to pick up the comics so that you can dive into the story and become part of the action.